Great, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to everybody who's willing to come on at 1 p.m. in the afternoon, South African time. We decided to create a series of interviews for those people who wanted to be part of a group that are entrepreneurs, people that are working a job, but they need extra income. There are so many ways of producing income these days, and we sometimes forget that there are opportunities that like last night we got invited to a braai, and the first thing I do when I get to a braai, I introduce myself to people, I get people's telephone numbers, I hear what they're doing, and I get them, somehow we can connect on some level or another. So what we decided, Stefan and myself, we put this together probably a week or two ago. We started a Telegram group for those people who were interested, and we want to discuss sustainable forms of income. And there are so many ways to create income, and I'm not talking about Ponzi schemes that you sign up for something and you make money, you join this and you expect money just to come in. I'm talking about real life forms of income. And so this would be one of the first interviews, and this was an exciting thing, because on the Telegram group I said, guys, introduce yourself, tell us what you're doing, and 5 or 6 people have responded, and I said, well, you guys are the first guys that are going to get interviewed. So if you see you've posted something about yourself, there was a message that you got from me to say, please send me a private message and we'll do an interview. And Nuksi, she didn't send a long message, but she said she's a full-time employed as a property practitioner. So I've never heard of a property practitioner. So that must be something special. And then she said she joined Gift of Legacy for extra income, but she's really interested in having more income. My universe, that's such a nice word to use, is open to much, but must be legitimate business. Interested to know more about the crypto. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Nuksi. Where are you from? Where are you based?
My name is Nuksi Klaasen. I am based in Gordons Bay. This is 45 minutes from Cape Town CBD itself. I work as a property practitioner with the new Property Act. We used to be called real estate agents or realtors, but the correct word for my job is I'm a property practitioner.
Great. And so how long have you been practicing this?
I started in 2015. Before that, I was working as a branch manager at an Ellerines group. This is retail. And in 2014, the whole Ellerines, over 7,000 people got retrenched that year. So that whole group was in trouble because we were a wing of African Bank. And African Bank got in trouble, and the Reserve Bank only saved the bank itself and not the retail side of the bank. So I said, what am I going to do? Let me rest for a few months. 2 or 3 months down the line, I said, I had enough rest. I need to work again. And property, real estate was something that I've always wanted to do. And then I just wrote an email to Pam Golding. A week later, I got employed. And I've been with Pam Golding from 2015 to 2019. And I was lobbied by a beautiful company, Peter Venter Estates in Gordons Bay. It's a boutique style company, small, but it's getting bigger and bigger now. And I'm with them. So I work Gordons Bay Strand and Somerset West vigorously, but I can list anywhere or I can sell anywhere because I've got property in Kuils River as well that I'm selling.
Oh, that's amazing. Because that's one of the questions I wanted to ask you. I mean, I want to get to that question just now, but what fascinated you about property?
As a child, I've always been an entrepreneur. And I always say to my friends, when I was in real estate, I would always look at these houses when we do deliveries, or I would go and interview or do a contract maybe at somebody's house. But houses and towns has always been something that attracts my attention. So being in real estate, out of real estate by force, not that I would have resigned out of real estate, I just knew I need to do property because it's something that I've always wanted to do as a child.
Great. So the question I wanted to ask you, and I'm glad you brought up the answer before I asked the question, is if you are selling property in Gordons Bay, how possible is it to sell property in a different part of the country?
It is possible because everything is internet. If you've got internet, the only thing that I need to do is to list your property. Unfortunately, I've listed a property of my brother in Johannesburg, Blue Valley Golf Estate, and I did not get to sell it because they were not at the house at that stage. So if there's internet, I can list your property. You just have to do your own viewings, unless I book all the viewings for one day maybe, and I fly down to Johannesburg and do it over a weekend, because it is a profitable business. So as an estate agent or a property practitioner, most of them do it. They fly down to Johannesburg, go sell the property there, enough clients lined up, and voila.
All right, so this takes me to the next question, because let's say somebody on this call, somebody watching this video later, says, but I'm interested in property, but I don't see time to go and do those exams and all the the certificates, because I mean, how much does it cost you just to get started as a practitioner?
Nothing. No, it does cost you something. Under correction, 364 and 80. The only thing that you need from day one when you start into property is just to have a certificate we call the FFC license. So it's the FFC certificate, and that you pay 364.80, and that's it. Then you can start practicing as a property practitioner. You've got 24 months to complete your certificate, your NQF4 level.
Yes.
NQF4, you've got 24 months for that. But should you have any kind of degree, you just apply for the exemption from the EAAB board. The logbook, you've got, I think, 12 months to have that in place as well.
Does that certificate cost you any money?
The FFC,
no, the
fidelity
NQF.
Yes, that costs you 364.80. That's the only money that you really need to start.
All right. Now, let's say, for instance, I've got another job. I'm working something else, but I'm interested in property, and I come to you and I say, Nuksi, can we work together? Can I give you properties to sell for me? Can we make some kind of arrangement?
Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. We call that a referral system. We've got a referral system in place. Of course, upon agreement, I usually give you 20% of every successful sale, or 20% can be a lot of money.
20% of the commission.
Of the commission, yes.
Yes, okay. No. All right, so that's great news. I don't know if anyone on this call have got any questions for Nuksi, but if you've got questions, please type those questions. And what else are you doing besides selling property at the moment? What is your interest?
My interest, as I said, I really want, because of the situation that I find myself in, I need to find more streams of income. The last 2 years has been very lucrative in property, but this year I've noticed things are going a bit down, and I really need to start looking in taking some money from my earnings and putting it somewhere just to enhance your lifestyle. Everybody's got a lifestyle that he needs to maintain, of course. So, as I said, crypto is definitely, the universe is open, and I feel that I should venture into that as well now.
Yes. Okay. Great. One of the questions that came up, are the lead providers not supposed to hold a Fidelity Fund certificate before they can be paid commission?
No.
Okay. And then Stefan says, can I buy property with crypto? So, okay, I guess you might have a different answer to me.
This question was raised a few months ago in a training session that we had with transferring attorneys, and it seems like our government is in the process of okaying that, because you just have to prove how did you receive this money, how did you make the money.
Yes, yes. Yeah, I know of lots of property deals that were done. I know of a guy that bought a car with crypto, but obviously the dealership that he bought it by had interest in crypto and made the agreement. There are other ways. For instance, if you got a crypto account and you sell and you withdraw from your crypto account straight to the bank account of the person that you're buying it from, that is also above legal business. But they might, I know SARS is very difficult on properties at the moment when people buy properties, because there's so much corruption in the government and people are buying properties with money that they've swindled out of the state coffers. So yes. So Alistair asks, how long before you start to earn if you want to do this seriously or even part-time? Is part-time even profitable?
Alistair, the second part of your question, part-time, I do think it is not profitable if you do it part-time. This is unfortunately a very demanding job, and it wants a lot of your attention, because you need to establish yourself in your area that you would canvas. And starting to earn, you should have some money saved up to carry you for at least 3 months. The longest it can take for any property to transfer, it's 3 months. The fastest, it's 6 weeks. But it's not profitable. Part-time is not, I don't think it can ever be profitable, part-time.
I also want to add there, Alistair, if I was you, because this is also my plan, is it, I would start finding properties part-time and give it to agents who have a full-time job and earn money out of those transactions before I take it full-time. Because as you've just heard from Nuksi, is that there have been some very tough times and dead times. I mean, look at when the lockdowns came, there was hardly much properties sold. And it seems like the property market has been moving to the coast. Am I correct?
During the lockdown, funny enough, most properties were sold. It was my best years ever.
Really?
I can, yes, the reason for that, buyers were phoning us up and people were buying properties. And let me tell you what was the reason for that. We've determined the reason for that. It was because of the interest rate. It was so low at that stage. remember that the interest rate was as low as 4.5%. And with this year that everything is starting to go back to normal, we are currently on a 8.5%, and people are not, it's a seller's market now. The buyers are quite scarce right now.
Okay. But would you agree with me that people are moving out of like Gauteng and to coastal towns or smaller towns and stuff like that?
We call my area, Gordons Bay Strand and Somerset, is called the Helderberg. And in 2018, while I was still with Pam Golding, it was already baptized as the new Joburg. We call my area the new Joburg because everybody's moving from Johannesburg to here.
Fantastic. And Stefan also says, when I sell a property out of a trust, what are the tax implications?
It depends on at what price was the property bought for and at what price. Out of a trust, it's easy. There's no implications as long as the trustees are all available to be able to sign the contract. There's no legal implications.
Okay, great stuff.
A trust is an entity, it's like the person itself, but now this time it's a trust. It's maybe 2 or 3, 4 people.
Okay, so that all of the trustees have to be present to sign the deal.
Yeah. Yes.
Great.
Or they must give one proxy to do it. All of them must give the one person proxy to handle the whole transaction.
Great. So when you're a salesman, I would say salespeople are the ones that make the most money in the world today, besides professional traders, and that's also seasonal. Whenever you sell something at a profit, all it cost you was your time and your effort and your voice. I mean, salespeople really make a lot of money, and it's when you make money, isn't there temptation to spend it soon afterwards?
Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing in my business, because we do not get a salary monthly, and when your money comes, half of it's already been spent. And this is what an old lady told me in 2015: do not spend what you do not have. But it's so difficult not to do that.
Right.
So we have a lot of money. We earn very, very good money at stages, but because of it, it's not, you can earn 4 months later.
Right. Galaxy 832 says, how easy is it to rent out a property as a home owner in Gordons Bay area?
Oh, that's because of the interest rate these days, and people can't really afford to buy because of the interest rate and this or that. The rental market is really of such a good, it's the best option these days, because most people rent out. So I do find myself most of the time looking for property for buyers that actually just wants to buy it as an investment. And then you get Gordons Bay, which is a coastal town, close to everything, 20 minutes away from the airport, 45 minutes from Cape Town, Stellenbosch, 15 minutes from Stellenbosch, Hermanus. Gordons Bay is the next best thing to Somerset West, because Somerset West has become so expensive that people start buying in Gordons Bay, and it's really a holiday accommodation town where people fetch up to 2,000, 3,000 a night on Beach Road, if not 4,000 a night, if it's a real good property with beautiful views. You get the best sunsets in Gordons Bay. You get to see Table Mountain on a very clear day from Gordons Bay. So rental has become back to your question, rental has become a very good business. You can easily make 10% back on your investment. Of course, there's maintenance pay, so easily 8% in your pocket on your investment in gold in Spain.
I just want to add something to that because I like Robert Kiyosaki and he has like inspired me to also look down the aisle of property. And he said, when there's a stock market crash, when there are tough times in the world, often we see these opportunities come in the property market where the people cannot afford properties anymore. And then what they do is the wealthy people come and buy their properties for very low prices. And then they say there's a big need for a rental market. So if you've done yourself any favor lately to look at what's happening on the Dow Jones and a lot of the markets, we actually see that the markets are crashing slowly but surely. It's like running on a 7-year cycle. So I'm sure that property market, if you got property, maybe not to sell it, but to rent it out rather than to sell it, because I'm not sure, maybe, it's still a good time, I think, to buy property while the prices are good, but we are seeing a property market bubble crash. And we saw this start happening already last year with the biggest property giant in China called Evergrande or Evergrande. And they were the ones, they're building super skyscrapers but their property shares started dropping and dropping. And even the Chinese government told them to actually break down some of their buildings that they had built. So, there's two sides of property that I'm thinking of right now is buying and selling properties, or buying and renting out properties, or selling properties for someone else. What would you say is the way to go, Nuksi?
At this current stage, because of the interest rate, and it has become a seller's market, so we are very, very low on stock. Should you get a good property at a very good price, buy it and rent it out. But Reuel, we also have this very high demanding thing that's going on nowadays. It's development. So we've got a lot of developers coming on and starting to build. And yeah, it's easier to make money is buy and rent it out.
Right.
Your return on investment would be great.
So Alistair's got a very interesting question. He says, I'm 63. I want to buy a small holding and start a resort or a retreat. What sort of funding options do I have? This is a very interesting question. How long do I have to repay? If I get funding, of course.
Okay, which means Alistair would like to do a business on it. And how long does she have to pay? It's usually 30 years. It's very rare that you get a longer term than 30 years over it. It depends on the price that you bought it for, and that will determine your installment that you have to pay back. Of course, you as a person or the business, what kind of business it is, then the banks usually look at that to determine your interest rate. And your interest rate is what determines your installment per month. And that determines your period, how long will you have to pay it.
And at the age of 63, would he be able to get funding?
You would be able to get funding. It usually gets scary after 70, 75. But if he's got, if he's got a good track record, you would be able to get funding.
Would you have to have some kind of collateral or other properties to be able to get that funding?
Yes. It would make it much easier, but yes. I can always set him up with a bond originator, because we've got bond originators we're working very closely with. And I know my bond originator, she'll do anything to get you the deal.
Right. So you see, that's why we have having these calls, because we're throwing some ideas around and everybody can, there's something in your minds that have given you, I'm sure, sitting on this call, you might have thought, I'm just going to sit in on this call to this, just to be entertained or learn what the property market's about. But maybe there are opportunities that you will be able to have by listening in on different questions and here's a new question. Galaxy A32, it's always good to change the name of your phone if you're on a Zoom call to your name, then we don't have to address you as a phone. What are the best tourist holiday seasons or times of the year for property owners whom wouldn't like to rent in the Helderberg area?
Can you repeat that?
So would like to, okay, so he just typo that's now predictive text messaging, and that's a problem. What are the best tourist holiday seasons or times of the year for properties who would likely to rent in the Helderberg area?
Okay, the question is then which time of the year is the best time for any person who wants to?
Yes.
Our season starts 1st October and ends end of February, that first week of March. We have overseas clients that on a yearly basis they book out those 6 months because that's our sunny side of summertime. That comes for, that is religiously every year they book that same house for year on year. 1st of October, first week of March, they leave. This is when we fetch our biggest daily rentals as well. So yeah, we call them the swallows. That's the swallows.
Great. So people would basically adjust their prices according to the season.
Yes.
And that's what I used to do when we lived in Gauteng. We liked to go to Cape Town, but we wanted to go to Cape Town when there wasn't any Gautengers there. And so we always went during January because the prices were down and the flights were much cheaper and the car rental was cheaper. So if you go when everyone goes, then you're going to pay a lot more.
Definitely.
All right. Well, anyone else has any questions, please type the questions. We have a few minutes left. Nuksi, what else would you like to educate us with?
We had a chat about our rentals, our property. I would like to just mention to tourists, because my town is a tourist attraction. People can't really afford the CBD itself, Cape Town and the surrounding areas there. So the next best thing is Helderberg. It's out of the hustle and bustle, and people don't have time for the hustle and bustle anymore. They want the peace and quiet that my town gives them. When you buy a property, it would save you so much money, because then you become not the tenant. You book out your house for a certain period of the year, because holidays can be very, very expensive. But if you have a property that you say to this managing agent, December, I'm going to use it the whole of December, but then it will generate money for itself, because you are a homeowner in the area then. So
what if I have a property in your area, you folks have a rental, have you got a subdivision rental agency that I can bring my property to you and you can rent it out for me?
Yeah, I know a lady, Gordon's Bay Stay, Juanita Wilson. I usually refer to her, and most of my my coastal properties on Beach Road itself, it's mostly bought by investors. And once I'm done with the sale, I just introduce them to Juanita, and Juanita takes it on from there as a rental or holiday accommodation. Juanita herself does not do too much rental. She is more into holiday accommodation. because a daily rate and a monthly rate there's a huge difference.
Does Juanita give referral commissions?
Yes, she does.
Okay. See, that's the kind of people we want to deal with. I don't want to give you any business unless there's a kickback for me. So
no, we give referrals. I don't give nobody nothing if I don't get something from it.
Yes, all right. And then I'm not sure what Room Else is. Is there a place called Room Else? Pringle Bay and Betty's Bay are also a good investment.
Pringle Bay, Reuel, it's the most beautiful drive. I would always say, people, when you are here, you need to take that road. It's called Clarence Drive. It's pretty. So that has become the new hype, because people buy big sizes there, over 1,000 square meter ranges, and build themselves stunning houses on there. And the prices people make a lot of money of just building a house and decide a month, 2 months later, I'm selling it.
All right, and last, Alistair says, what if I rent a house in Gordons Bay and turn it into an Airbnb?
Unfortunately, you can't rent somebody's house and turn it into a business.
Yes.
No, it's not right. It's your house that you can turn into an Airbnb. Yeah,
I think that's one of Airbnb's rules, that you can only.
Yeah, there's a subletting. You can't do subletting. It's against the law. You can't do subletting. You can't rent somebody's property and do an Airbnb.
Oh, just on that note, a friend of mine years ago, he had very serious debt, and he went to England to stay in England, and while he was looking for a job, he found a house or a flat to rent, and he had, I think, 3 bedrooms in the house. And then he sublet it to all the South Africans that were coming to England to share a room, and he made an income out of that before he actually found a job. But I think a lot of people, and I want to give you an example. A friend of mine in Pretoria a few years ago, he was in financial trouble. He couldn't pay his bond anymore, and he had a lapa in the backyard, and he had a huge double garage in the front. And I said, why don't you turn this into a flat? Why don't you turn this into something that can bring you money? Because you've got this huge property, but this property is not. So people think that property is an investment. It's not an investment if it's not bringing you money. A car is even the more worse investment unless it's bringing you a lot more money than what you're paying on it. Anyway, I said to him one night in front of his wife, I said, you need to make a plan here, my friend. And I said, why don't you turn this into a flat? So his wife said, no, I don't like other people's energies in my space. I said, well, unfortunately, you have to now make a decision. If you don't pay this house in the next month, you might lose the property altogether, and then all the energies might even get worse for you without having other people on your property. And fortunately, we knew a good estate agent, and that's one very important thing, folks. Don't just rather get to know an agent in your area or someone that you trust. Because within a week, this guy found a cash buyer, and within a month, he had the property sold and the money in his bank account. And lucky he made that decision, because he made 300,000 out of that property, and he could then breathe again. So we must stop, don't be hard-ass. Don't be, I'm seeing life this way. Property gives us a lot of opportunities, and I think you're in the right business. But of course, we have to diversify, and that's the reason why we're having these calls. So I will, at the end of the call, I will put Nuksi's contact details for you folks, so that if anyone wants to contact her and have a chat or advice, please do so.
Fantastic.
Stefan, is there something that you would like to add or say? You can unmute yourself.
Thank you, Reuel. Much appreciated. Nuksi, thank you so much. Yeah, this is awesome. what is busy happening here and how this group is starting to interwoven and exactly what our dream and our what we want to accomplish with this. Thank you, Reuel, for having this. Thank you for everybody that was on here. It's excellent. It's excellent. I totally love this. Thank you.
Just one thing, Tony is talking to Alistair. You could look at doing some kind of camping site. Don't know what the implications are. So I think this, I want to end this off with a cherry on the cake. Do think big, but don't start big. Like I know of a guy, he wants to start a handyman business. So he goes and buys a double cab bakkie of 1.3 million rand. After 3 or 4 months, he can't afford the double cab bakkie because he doesn't have the business to generate that. So start small. Buy yourself a small piece of land for 100,000. I mean, our town, I will assist you to buy properties, 1,000 square properties for between 150, 200,000 rand. And then you can start building on that and working that into a business. That everybody starts small somewhere and builds it up.
Yes, that's excellent.
Thank you, Nuksi, Stefan, and everyone else on the call. It was lovely having you all and getting nice interaction. And I know some of you that are on the call also responded. So please send me a private message and we will see you chat soon. Bye for now.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stefan.
Bye-bye.